Harrington High School, home of the Hornets, had an alien invasion? Yes, I'm talking about The Faculty from 1998. Let's get into this classic film review.
Welcome to the Asia Esterak Hour, where film meets conspiracy and pop culture gets a reality check. From sharp recaps to sci-fi theories and media deep dives, Asia Esterak serves it unfiltered. Let the binge begin.
All right, welcome back to the Asia Esterak Hour. I'm Asia Esterak. All right, so last night, because Halloween is coming, I was all in my feels and felt like watching The Faculty, which is on Amazon Prime, by the way. Actually, it's on Paramount Plus, but I bought the little extra adage so I can watch it on Prime for cheaper. Anyway, yeah. The Faculty came out in 1998. It's directed by Robert Rodriguez, written by the amazing Kevin Williamson. If you don't know who Kevin Williamson is, he is responsible for the Scream films and Dawson's Creek and a bunch of other amazing stuff. Um, Freaking love him, love his dialogue. His dialogue has always been super solid. The score is by the fantastic Marco Beltrami, which is funny because I didn't even see his name in the opening credits. But like 15 minutes into the movie, I was like, yo, this score is almost a character within itself. It sounds like Marco Beltrami. And then at the end of the movie, I was like, of course it's Marco Beltrami. I'm sorry, I haven't seen The Faculty probably since high school. And watching it again last night, I was literally like this the whole time. So The Faculty stars Josh Hartnett at the height of his heartthrobness with that horrible haircut, Elijah Wood, Jordana Brewster, Clea Duvall, Sean Hattasey, Robert Patrick, Piper Laurie, Jon Stewart, Salma Hayek, BB Newirth, Dwayne Martin, Usher Raymond. I could go on. There were so many stars in this movie. So anyway, Christopher McDonald, Shooter McGavin, in case you don't know who that is. So The Faculty is set at this high school called Harrington High. They never say what city it's in, but it's clearly a small town. And the movie opens with the faculty with BB Newirth, who plays the principal. And basically, we're opening learning that the school doesn't have a lot of money and there's not a lot of funding. And it seems like this high school is almost an afterthought. And it's emphasized from the beginning that that football and sports seems to be the priority of the school. Robert Patrick, the amazing Robert Patrick, he plays the coach. If you don't know who Robert Patrick is, he's most famously known for playing the T-1000 Terminator in Terminator 2. The dude running like this. Have you seen this boy? Him. He was just as creepy as the coach in this. So anyway, the opening, they're learning about the budget cuts, the teachers, BB Newirth, who's great. Check her out, y'all. She's actually a great actress and she's really fantastic on Broadway. She was amazing in Chicago, by the way. Love her. I forgot how great this film was and the cast was. I love a good fun film, especially ones where kind of like this, like, a movie with like one setting where all the characters are like sequestered to one spot and they have to figure out how to get their way out of it. I love stuff like that. Um, because it's just fun and adventurous and it leaves you, the audience, on the edge of your seat because you don't know what's going to happen. But this movie, so at the opening, budget cuts, that whole nine, this is happening after school is over. It's nighttime. So all the teachers are leaving. BB Newirth and Piper Laurie. So Piper Laurie is the original mother from the original film Carrie. She was terrifying in that movie. Equally creepy in this. She was older in this, but just still. Ooh, Piper Laurie, y'all. If y'all ever watched the original Carrie, call me. She was scary in that movie. That's a creepy book. But anyway, so BB Newirth, they get to the front of the school and she realizes she forgot her house keys in her office. She walks back to her office. Robert Patrick's creepy ass, the football coach, very aggressive. He comes up on her. She thinks that he's flirting with her, and she realizes that he's not flirting with her. He's being extra. She doesn't take it as him trying to kill her at first, but he ends up chasing her through the high school, and she's running from him. She gets to the door and realizes the door where she left Piper Laurie outside the school is now chained up locked. So she's stuck in there. There's a big chase scene. She fights him off. She has to run back because she forgot another key for the lock. You know, just the stakes are high. This is the opening scene, by the way. I love it. So she's trying to get out. Piper Laurie is helping her, and then you realize Piper Laurie is a creep too. She ends up stabbing her to death. At least that's what us audience thinks. And then her and Robert Patrick are looking at each other, nodding, giving that whole Fight Club nod. And that's the opening scene. So after that, we get introduced to all the characters. Elijah Wood's character, Casey, he's kind of like, he works for the school paper and he's kind of a nerd, you know, a loner, and he gets beat up a lot. They show him getting ran up on a flagpole by high school bullies. We meet Jordana Brewster. She's like super popular. She's head of the newspaper. Her boyfriend, played by Sean Hattasey, is king, captain of the football team. And here's what I love. So you have him, and then you have Clea Duvall, who's like the loner goth girl who they try to downplay and say discount her, and they call her a lesbian in the movie. Well, Clea Duvall is a lesbian in real life, but Clea Duvall was that girl. Clea Duvall was the goth chick, the loner chick, and a lot of stuff. And it's so funny because she was in the movie Girl Interrupted, and ironically didn't play any of those characters and delivered. I've been a fan of hers. I actually saw her once at the ArcLight in LA, and I was too shy to go talk to her because I just wanted to be like, girl, I love you, Clea. Anyway, I really wonder if she's related to Robert Duvall. I know there's a lot of nepotism in Hollywood, but I don't think she is, but I was always curious about that. Not a very common last name. But anyway, so she's the goth chick. We meet Josh Hartnett. He's like the hot loner heartthrob guy. He sells all types of stuff outside his truck from you know, substances that shouldn't be used on high school campuses, among a bunch of other stuff. It's funny. Usher's in the movie. He doesn't have a big part, but he is on the football team. Um, I remember when they did the rollout for this film, they all were actually in a giant Tommy Hilfiger ad. Tommy Hilfiger was like huge when I was in high school. Um, actually, Kadada Jones, Tupac's widow, is actually in the film as well. She doesn't have a speaking role, but she definitely plays one of the high school students. And as we all know, she used to model for Tommy Hilfiger. This movie brought back so many memories watching it again. It reminded me so much of senior year of high school. I graduated in 99. And I just love a good in in the television world, you would have called this a bottle film or a bottle episode where they're all kind of stuck in one spot because they pretty much don't really leave the high school in the movie, um, except like one scene. But it reminded me a lot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer too. Anybody that watched Buffy, I'm a huge Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. The TV show, movie's great. Love the TV show. So it really brought me back to high school and all the big bad creepy crawly stuff that I liked as a teenager. This is such a fun movie. It's so fun. But anyway, so the next day we meet all these characters. We also learn when we go into the faculty lounge that the coach is still cool. Piper Laurie, where her creepy ass walks in looking, and BB Newirth, the principal, is not dead. She's now very, hello, everyone. Hi. They all seem like they're under the influence of something. And we ain't talking about substances, y'all. We talking about something else. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Yes. So anyway, Elijah Wood and Jordana Brewster are the first two characters to notice that something's off. They work for the school newspaper, and Jordana Brewster is she's like the popular bitch. She's very uncaring. She's even rude to her boyfriend, played by Sean Hattasey, because he's having an internal struggle being captain of the football team. He's tired of playing football. And we learn throughout the movie that he's tired of getting special treatment for playing football. There's a great scene in the movie where he talks about how he wants to quit football. He just wants to be normal and explore other things. He feels like all he's ever been good at is, his whole thing is he's been good at sports his whole life. He wants to be good at something else. And he talks about how he got a D in this one class, but the teacher said he had a good throwing arm, so he raised his D to a B. And he's like, I earned that D. I want to keep that D. I love that scene. But the reason I'm mentioning that is because he's dating Jordana Brewster's character. And when he tells her that he's quitting the football team, she's like, well, what's the point of us? I mean, I date the captain of the football team. I'm head of cheerleading, AP, the whole nine, right? So she kind of discounts him. There's a reason that I'm mentioning that. So she is extremely overzealous, and she and Elijah Wood, she makes him come with her. His character's name is Casey. She's like, let's go to the faculty lounge and see if we can dig up a better story. Exposing one of the teachers or something. Little do they know what they were about to themselves get exposed to. So they're snooping around the faculty lounge, looking at stuff, and then they see that there's people coming, the teachers, so they hide in the closet. So they're in the closet, and of course, Robert Patrick, the coach, and Piper Laurie, one of the other teachers, they're all aliened, invasioned up. They come in and they're talking about something, and Salma Hayek comes in. So if you guys don't know, Robert Rodriguez has worked with Salma Hayek for years. I mean, she was in Desperado with him. That was like one of her big breakout roles, or in Antonio Banderas. And Robert Rodriguez, he always puts her in most of his stuff. And it's funny. So in this film, she plays the nurse, but she's always sickly. So she comes into the lounge. She's clearly not turned yet. She's still human. So remember, Elijah Wood and Jordana Brewster are in the closet hiding out, just watching everything play out. Robert Patrick and Piper Laurie are like, nurse such and such, come over here. So they pin her down, and we watch as Robert Patrick's alien ES, his eyes roll in the back of his head, all these squigglies come through his skin, and he turns Salma Hayek's head, and this like being thing spits out of his mouth and into her ear. They're all watching this in the closet freaking out, right? And Elijah Wood has his hand over Jordana Brewster's mouth to keep her from screaming because, it's terrifying. So at the same time, there's something in the back of the closet that's getting pushed forward, and it's a dead body. Now, the dead body that gets pushed forward is another teacher, an older teacher who Piper Laurie and Robert Patrick tried to turn. And she shows up in the boys' shower room looking for help, screaming, talking about, I'm dried out and it didn't take, or some shit. So Sean Hattasy, the captain of the football team, happens to be in the shower. So of course he's traumatized. He's trying to get her help. He thinks her gets help. He thinks he gets her help. And then we later learn now here in the closet that she was stuffed in the closet by somebody and she fell out on them. So of course, Jordana Brewster and Elijah Wood are freaking out. So they're in the closet freaking out. The dead body's there. They're looking out in the hall and they're looking out through the closet and they're seeing this horror show take place. So this is what I love, because this was unpredictable. Instead of staying in there hiding, they bust out. They bust out running, getting chased by them. They're freaking out. They run in the hallway and they're like, oh my God, da-da-da-da. Something happened. They're telling another teacher, and then out walks Robert Patrick, Piper Laurie, and Salma Hayek. She's no longer sniffling and sick. And she's like, what's wrong, guys? I'm fine. A pod person. So anyway, Elijah Wood runs home. He tells his parents. They show up at the school. And at this point, this is the next day. So at this point, BB Newworth, the principal, and a bunch of other people are now calling high school students, kids, to the office, and they're slowly turning everybody. So everyone's getting turned slowly into something. Nobody knows what it is yet. Now, there's a new girl that comes to the school. She's also in the opening scene. Her name is Mary Beth Hutchinson. I'm from Alabama, and I live up here with my daddy. So she's new. So we meet her. She interacts with the characters throughout, right? And we also find out earlier in that day that Elijah Wood's character, Casey, who's a loner, he ends up finding this weird, like, bug-looking thing out in the football field. And of course, Robert Patrick's character hangs out at the football field. He likes to hang out in the middle of the sprinklers. So there's something that you notice. Whenever somebody's turn, they drink a lot of water and they're always in moisture, which later comes up later. So Jon Stewart is in the movie, looking super young and hilarious. He plays the science teacher. Elijah Wood's character, this is before all the alien stuff goes down. He brings the species to Jon Stewart, and they actually do an experiment on it in front of the class, and they figure out that this species, which they think is dead, actually activates when it's touched by water. So he puts it in the aquarium, like in this like aquarium fish tank type thing in front of the whole class, and it comes alive and it's swimming around, and he's thinking, oh my god, we found a new species. So he sticks his hand in there with gloves on to see if the atmosphere would change with the species. The thing ends up biting him. So they're like, wow, it has teeth. So remember that. So fast forward back, because I jump around a lot. If you know me, if you follow me, you already know that. So we're going to do what we do. So anyway, Elijah Wood's character tells his parents, Christopher McDonald, and this other lady, I can't remember the actress's name, but she was hilarious. So they go into the school. He's trying to tell them what's going on. They're looking at him like he's crazy. And then he notices that they call the police. So the police show up. Dwayne Martin plays one of the cops, you guys. By the way, sidebar, totally unrelated, but I noticed everything. How is he playing a cop and his collar was like this with a black t-shirt on? It was giving film student. It was giving film school student. I was like, whoever did the costume for that, I know that's dumb, but it drove me crazy. I was like, why is that not? He's a cop. Like it should be. Anyway, that got on my nerves. But so they're there to investigate, and Elijah Wood thinks he's doing something. BB Newirth, the principal, ends up taking Dwayne Martin into the room. You hear a bump, comes out of her office, and he's acting weird too. And he goes, there's nothing to see here. Just a kid making stuff up. So he convinces his partner to leave, and Elijah Wood knows what just happened. So eventually he gets with Clea Duvall's character, the goth chick, and he's like, have you noticed that everything is weird here at school? The teachers are acting weird. A lot of the students are acting weird. And she's like, I don't know, maybe it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Maybe they're all just a bunch of pod people. Now, this is where Kevin Williamson, the script writer, comes in. Kevin Williamson is a cinephile like myself. He always uses cinematic references, anything he's ever in. If you guys ever watched Dawson's Creek, which was the show that he created, if you remember, Dawson, the main character, was a huge cinephile and loved who? Steven Spielberg, right? So in this movie, I love it because his film prowess came through the character Stokely, played by Clea Duvall. But she basically lays out to Elijah Wood's character Casey in this scene that in the movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers, um, the aliens were in pods and they were invading people that way and taking over a small town. And she's like, in the movie Puppet Master, which was also like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, they weren't pod people, but they were parasites, right? So we learned that what they think the aliens in this film are also parasites, because remember, they're being entered through the ear. And we know that they're activated by water. And anybody that gets one of those things in them is drinking a whole lot of water and hanging out in the sprinklers and hanging out in the pool and hanging out. So they realized that they're all connected, because he was like, well, if we gotta figure out how to get rid of them. No one's gonna believe us. What's the best way to take over the world? You start with a small town. You don't blow it up independent style. You start small and you gain traction that way. I love that. I love all the references. Independence Day. I love it. So eventually, all the main characters, Josh Hartnett, the new girl, Mary Beth Hutchinson, Clea Duvall, Sean Hattasey, the whole nine, all the main characters that are teenagers, they all eventually link up because they are realizing that there's something seriously wrong with the faculty in the school and the people. They know that something's happening. Now I want to talk about Josh Hartnett's character. His name is Zeke. Remember, he sells stuff out of the trunk of his car, and he's like the cool kid. And he's also very smart. There's scenes with him in his classroom, and you realize he's really smart. He's just the hot, popular loner guy, I guess, that won't apply himself. I thought this was weird. So, and forgive me if I'm saying her name wrong, but Famke Jensen, who was the original Jean Grey in the first X-Men movies, I love her. So she plays his English teacher in the film. And there was a lot of sexual tension between them, which I thought was very strange because she's clearly a teacher and he's a student. And later on, when she's possessed, she's clearly coming to him. There's a very suggestive scene in the film too, where he's trying to sell her something because she's calling him out for selling substances to teenagers, and she's like, you shouldn't be doing that. And he offers to sell her some condoms. It's just funny how we're conditioned to be okay with that. Because I'm watching this movie at 17 years old back in the day, and I think even then I was thinking, well, that's weird. Why is he flirting with a teacher like that? Why is she flirting back? very strange. But even the way it was written, I was like, Kevin Williamson, really? Really, Kevin Williamson? Really? But then the movie was, produced by Bob and Harvey Weinstein. So, there's that. There's that. The morals just go out the window. Anyway, long story short, they figure out that that these parasites are probably all connected by one host. And if they kill the host or the queen, as they call it, they'll kill everybody. They'll kill everyone, right? We find out towards the end of the film that the queen is actually the new chick, Mary Beth Hutchinson. Mary Beth Hutchinson from Alabama. I live here with my daddy. Turns out that she's the queen. She's the one there. It makes sense because she's intermingling with the main cast members, running with them. You find out that she's been playing them the whole time. And here's the one thing. So because this alien species is based in water, we actually find out that they're some type of sea creature, but an alien sea creature. Um there's one thing that can kill them, and it's this substance that Zeke, Josh Hartnett's character, is selling to everyone. So they figure out that if they take this substance, they'll figure out who's an alien and who's not. She fakes them out so she doesn't have to, which we later learn she's able to block her nasal passages so she doesn't have to sniff it. It was a whole thing. But anyway, the movie is so fun because we watch as everyone is slowly getting turned and how the main characters, I love it because we're watching them watch as they're losing footing because everybody is getting turned around them, and they're the ones that basically have to save the day, save the world. And it's so funny when the new girl reveals that she's basically the queen. Her ass is butt naked, swims in the water. And I will say this. So when she turns into her like real self, when she's like the giant, like squiddly diddly alien, this is why I miss the 90's, you guys, because there wasn't CGI. They had a little bit of CGI in the movie, but they built that monster. They built that monster. And the big buildup at the end is Elijah Wood has the monster chase him underneath the bleachers, and he automatically sets the thing to shut. So they're slowly closing. And he's basically leading the queen to follow him so he can get her ass. He gets her pinned in underneath the bleachers, and he stuffs that substance, the substance I can't say, shmugs, but you know what I'm talking about, into the creature's eye, and it actually dries her out. So when she dies, everybody else dies. So all the little hosts, the little parasites that were inside of everybody falls out. It was great. So of course, like a typical Buffy episode, the next day, nobody remembers what happened except that crew. And it's funny because obviously, typical high school movie, the unlikely group of people that come together are people that would normally talk to each other, and they end up kind of saving the world and saving their town. Um, Fun film, The Faculty, Robert Rodriguez, y'all. Robert Rodriguez. And let me just say something. Robert Rodriguez has such an interesting career. He went from El Mariachi, Desperado, The Mask of Zorro. Wait, did he direct that? No, he did direct that. The Mask of Zorro, to Spy Kids, to Planet Terror, to The Faculty, to Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and my personal favorite, From Dusk Till Dawn. That's also my favorite Quentin Tarantino script as well. But this movie was just pure fun. He also edited too. I don't know if you know this. Robert Rodriguez edits all his films. But you have a great combination of actors, writers, Kevin Williamson, Marco Beltrami. Let me tell you something. The score in this movie, they don't do film scores like this anymore. And I don't know where Marco Beltrami is at, but baby, wherever you at, you need to come out of hiding and get back on it, sir. He he scored so many great films back in the 90's and early 2000s. Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway, The Faculty, great film, fun high school adventure, a little horror, Invasion of the Body Snatchers with a little bit of humor and a little action adventure. I absolutely love this movie. It literally made me feel like a teenager again watching it. Anyway, you guys be nice to each other. It's the beginning of the week. This is my classic film review for this week, The Faculty. And please watch if you have seen it or if you haven't seen it. Let me know how you feel about it in the comments. And I'm going to go return these videotapes.